Hey, look, it's another director's cut. Yeah, this time not just a copyright strike was behind it, but a fucking $50,000 lawsuit. Check my Twitter if you're interested in the details on that. But for now, there's not going to be much changes except for the fact that the introductory AMV bit is going to be cut out. So instead of that, let me tell you about my BitChute account. That's where I'm going to be uploading most of my uncut stuff now, because I almost always need to make concessions when uploading to YouTube. It fucking ruins my creative process, and it takes out some of the biggest parts of my videos that I put some of the most effort into. See, for example, the GX video, and even this video. Now, BitChute is an alternative to YouTube that uses WebTorrent for streaming, which for one is very interesting because that means it's somewhat decentralized, and it doesn't really have a copyright system, so I can just upload stuff there how I want. So the original versions of my content will be on BitChute. However, YouTube will still get upload priority, and my stuff will come to BitChute a few days later, because I want to put more importance on YouTube than BitChute, because BitChute is just an alternative for those that want to see the quote-unquote purest form of my content. But that's enough about that. I'll see you later.
Heck, even the second season G managed to really up the ante and spectacle while not forgetting the story that keeps things coherent. Hint freaking hint!
Buckle in, boys! It's go time! Now, while I made it clear in last week's video, I think I'm well off by stating again that I unconditionally love this series. To expand on my points from last time, Symphogear was not just my first foray into non-magical girl anime, but it was also the first franchise I actively followed. Yeah, I'd seen multiple seasons of Precure at that point, but I was not on any sort of track about where the franchise was going. After Symphogear G, on the other hand, man, I was on top of that shit. I could go really deeply into detail here, but I want to keep this introductory segment somewhat short. So I'll simply say that this season of Symphogear was the first time I truly interacted with an anime outside of watching the show. While I do in many points prefer season 1 in terms of simple experience, G was in my case the far superior show. With all that said, let's get into this and see how that experience holds up. 5 years later. So, keeping it similar to the overview from last week, this time around, instead of with a bookend opener, we start the series with a flashback scene, and oh boy, what a flashback scene it is. Symphogear G ramps up the amount of dead girls from 1 to 3, and then decides to switch one of them into this season's sad girl and another into... warmongering girl? Well, whoever this mom character is, she sure seems important and way too villainous for this show to be the actual villain. A few minutes into this first episode, it too tries to give us whiplash, but instead of using last season's literal roller coaster, G uses simple jump cuts between the noise-shredding action of Hibiki and Chris defending a train, and a vocal piece as well as a concert between Tsubasa and sad girl Maria Kadenzavna Eve. Wait, are you fucking serious? That's her name?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's like if some French royalty married into a Slavic family, like seriously, Jesus Christ, what the absolute fuck? While Hibiki and Chris managed to deliver the relic they were transporting, though not without incidents, Tsubasa's streak of bad luck continues as this concert too is cut short by a noise attack. This time around, however, they're under human control, simply holding the audience hostage. Transitioning into episode 2, we are shown 2 more gear users that are part of this organization, just as sad catgirl Maria reveals herself to not only be part of this season's villain organization, but also wield a Gangnir-based Symphogear, as well as being the leader of... Wait, okay. I'm getting serious deja vu from this conversation now, but are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
But what happened to believe in the song that lives in your heart? Okay, well, it seems like all stops are pulled out this season, which at least means we get some more amazing gear-on-gear battles, but what next? Hibiki being able to absorb and utilize foreign Zeshous as a replacement for being unable to materialize in armed gear? You are fucking kidding me! As G runs along, a whole boatload of things happen. Not only do we get a full-on terrorist organization with our new villains consisting of Mommy Stockholm Syndrome, Edgy Catgirl, that weird kid with Heelys, Des to My Ears, and me on a Saturday night out, we also find out that our new 3 gear users are also not actually Fine, not Fine either, and totally not Fine. At the same time, wait a second, what the fuck? At the same time, Hibiki gets her arm bitten off and needs to stop using her Symphogear halfway through the season because it being fused with her body and everything poses a threat to her life because the gear is taking over her body more and more as she uses it, resulting in a situation that ends up driving Miku to the side of the villains with the sentiment to keep Hibiki from fighting and gives her her own gear, which the villains abuse to raise this universe's equivalent of Atlantis from the bottom of the ocean and use it to play around with the moon some more. Just give me a second here.
Can someone please tell me what Kaneko was on while writing this and where I can get some myself? Seriously, what the fuck?
Yeah, this season is definitely the one where the one thing that most people appreciate about Symphogear started. The Yuri the hype as fuck fighting and set pieces. This season makes what made season 1 palatable to those mentioned most people and turns it into the juicy, melt-in-your-mouth, guilty pleasure treat that Symphogear is known for being today. Of course, all the positive things from the original season are there and turned up all the way to 11. We get an array of 5 new great characters, all villainous ones that, while being tropey, are still nuanced and have facets to their personalities. This story goes absolutely off the charts in terms of spectacle, hype, and stakes. The art and animation can finally rival that of many bigger, more renowned studios, and the soundtrack, well, actually the soundtrack is a little worse in my opinion. I know I'm in the minority here, but I don't like the OSTFG as much as that of the first season. Don't get me wrong, it's still absolutely amazing, but it doesn't scream Symphogear to me as much as the original does. Okay, so I want to put up an intermission here, because I can't really think of anything more to put here that's worthwhile to the point of this video. Everyone is caught up on what has happened, and I went over the improvements and changes from the original season. There's not really many issues for me to point out here, because unlike with Season 1, doing so was never my intention anyways. However, I've encountered something incredibly special while rewatching this show. A feeling I've never felt before. I didn't get this feeling during my Season 1 rewatch, or any other pass I did over any other season of Symphogear, even this one, or any other anime for that matter. Now, it took me an incredibly long time to figure out what this feeling was, which is why this video is late. It was supposed to release on Thursday, symbolically timed as a birthday gift to Hibiki. But I wanted to know what that feeling was first, so after finishing the season, writing up bullet points for the script, and making my scores of slightly lowered and 5 out of 5 questionable fashion senses, I started reflecting on this feeling, the season and my experiences with it. The name for this feeling is often thrown around with very little meaning, almost like the disorders of OCD or anxiety. Even I have done so before, and it was a feeling longing for an experience which I couldn't have. Sparked by entering a state where I did have that experience, even if only for a split second. It hit me like a rock. This feeling, it was nostalgia.